following podcast is rated D for dumb. And now, cowbell. More cowbell. Louder cowbell. Maybe next episode.
9 o'clock, I'm bored to death. Smoke so much I can smell my own breath. My baby left, my best friend's not at home. Can't get that woman off my mind. I've never been the brooding kind, but there's still one thing makes me come alive. Yeah, I'm gone for a drive.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
All right, here we are. Thank you, Alex Exum, for that great intro, alexexum.com. Alex, are you ready to dumb it down? Alex, would you like to help me with my timing? How about Hal in Philly? Hal Cohen from Tales of the Road Warriors. Would you like to help me with my timing so it sounds authentic when I say, are you ready to dumb it down? And then the crowd goes crazy. And the crowd goes wild. Thank you, Hal in Philly, Tales of the Road Warriors. It's easy when you know Hal. Support him during his Halpocalypse and listen to his podcasts on Spreaker and everywhere else you find podcasts. Same thing with Alex Exum's live talk that you can hear on Spreaker Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's also on the Fringe, and he's got something going on like something else, Live 365. I don't know. Everybody's got like another thing happening. Even my Crooked River Radio's got something else like Play 365, Live 365. I don't even know what that all means. Mile High Radio's got something. MileHighHIRadio.com. And now it's HamiltonRadio.net, based out of New Jersey. HamiltonRadio.net, Channel 2. May 9th, my debut episode at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a 1 hour block. 1 hour block. Everybody gives me a 1 hour block. That's all I get, an hour. They like me enough for an hour. When's my second hour? When do we get to go live? I want to go live. And also, I'm on the I-95 Sports and Radio, I-95 Radio and Podcast Sports Network. I said, well, that's how I read it in the thing I got here, right? I-95 Radio and Podcast Sports Network. They put me on like also Mondays and Tuesdays in the morning. I think that's what they told me. Thank you, Bobby Guarente. And who else? Oh, I want to thank Joe Foley. Thank you, Joe Foley, for the No Sitting on the Sidelines Dad. No Sitting on the Sidelines Dad. I listened to that on Stitcher, but it's also available on Apple Podcasts. I don't think he's made it to Spreaker yet, which would be great because then I can leave comments every episode. That's the best thing about Spreaker and a few other of these platforms. You can leave comments. I just Joe just turned me on to Good Pods, a new platform I couldn't wait for. I was like, wow, you know what? We need another podcast platform. It's called Good Pods, and I think this one is like a little bit more social distancing driven or something like that. Like somehow you hook up with your friends and you see the podcasts they like and they see what you like, and I you know what, I really don't understand the app. I haven't really delved into it. I haven't done a deep dive in Good Pods, but it's another app, and as soon as that I'm on, you can go listen to it there. I don't know if you can comment. You know, I always like to keep everybody on Spreaker, or you can go to Dumbing It Down with Dave. I'd love it if you go to Dumbing It Down with Dave and listen to all my podcasts there. I don't even know if you could download from Dumbing It Down with Dave. That would be great. You know what? I should know that. All right, you know what? Some of you already know it, but I'll investigate that this weekend. Can you download from the Dumbing It Down with Dave website onto your phone or somewhere and listen to the podcast on demand, right? POD, podcast. Programming on demand, podcast on demand. There's a whole bunch of stories of what pod actually stands for. So anyway, so there you go. I will look into that. That's kind of important because I'd love to everybody go to my website. That'd be fantastic. By the way, happy Mother's Day for any of you who are listening within the May 9th vicinity of 2020 or any May 9th of any year, because these digital broadcasts are supposed to live on forever, longer than cockroaches. That's a selling point. When I'm trying to get sponsorship, I go, my podcast is going to last longer than a cockroach. But then again, I've never timed the lifespan of a cockroach. I have no idea how long they last. But they last a long time, don't they? So I just lost a whole bunch of the women that listen. Cockroaches, I'm out of here. I think that might have been the first mention of cockroach in 220 some odd episodes. That might have been my very first mention. So we're just going to try to finish up this epilogue part 2. I've already burned 6 minutes. I didn't want to burn. I swore to myself I wasn't going to get sidetracked. I was just going to get right into it. Just get right to it. But, I got a little exhausted there at the Walmart. I just left the Walmart in Rensselaer, New York, because I had to get my wife's Mother's Day card. And before I left the job, somebody said, "You get your wife a Mother's Day card?" I go, "Yeah." "Well, that's not your mother." "I know." You don't get... So do you get your mom? I mean, anybody. Do you get your mom? I mean, do you get your wife? Yeah, this is for the guys. Do you get your wife a Mother's Day card? I do. I always have. I don't want to. I don't want to get any card. I think they're all dumb. But whatever. She gets me a Father's Day card. I can't not get her a card because she gets me a card. I would have liked to have established about 30 years ago, listen, I want to have a relationship where we're cardless. Can we agree to be cardless? Let's find another way to show our love and whatever for each other every holiday. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe we can exchange sex. Yeah, that seems like that's appropriate. I love you. I love you. Well, no pretenses here. Let's get naked. A card. You want a Hallmark card for $4.97 that I stood there like an idiot getting COVID from everybody touching these cards that nobody's wearing gloves. Everybody's wearing masks. 99% of the people I've been meeting have been wearing masks. Nobody's wearing gloves. I got the COVID in this card. I'm giving her a COVID card. It's a Happy Mother's Day COVID card. Oh, by the way, so I was talking about all my relatives passing away. That I'll do a show every time because one of the people that listen to the show told somebody else, "Oh, Dave's mom died. You got whatever." Instead of just, "Hey, Dave does a podcast. You should listen to it." It's like, "Oh, Dave's mom." Listen, don't go spreading bad news. So let me just give you an advice. I'm giving my wife a COVID card today. Who knows what's going to happen? But you know what? If something, God forbid, happens, we'll all know this episode. I marked it down. I went to Walmart because of social norms. Because I had to get her a card, because we didn't come up with the agreement that on these holidays we'll just exchange sex. Or I would take money and then sex, which would make me really feel cheap. No, it would make me feel like a professional. They do. They don't pay you to have sex, they pay you to go home. So, but I'm already home. Oh, we could have done it in a hotel. Should have made that arrangement 30 years ago. But I didn't. So, anyway... God forbid any of that is true, but I feel stupid getting her a card. And it says a lot of stuff. I could read it to you. I didn't seal the envelope yet. It says a lot. Let's not do it. Let's just get to the epilogue. I got to finish up this whole Mom 5-part trilogy. I want this over with. I think maybe this episode I'm going to call it, I Bought My Mom a Cactus. I Bought My Mom a Cactus. Epilogue Part 2. By the way, in the previous episode, I mentioned a couple of things. I didn't finish the story. One of them I remember. The other one I don't remember what it was. But one of the things I mentioned was Bobcat Bob Goldthwait is a comedian. And years ago, he did a bit where he said, if he does that whole thing where he snorts and makes noises, and he drinks Fresca like a lunatic, right? Wasn't it Fresca? What a shtick with the Fresca, drinking it like a crazy person. So he said, "Hey, if you see me," this was all about that, I think that time about Rodney King. "If you see me out in the street and I'm getting my butt kicked, and people are beating up on me, and it looks like I'm getting really killed and all that stuff. He said, "Do me a favor, put down the camera and call 911." All right, there you go. That was his bit. It was funny when he did it because I was talking about the fact that I didn't keep a journal. And I didn't really, I kept some sort of a journal. I had a podcast and I did Dave's Fit Life, but it wasn't like a really detailed day-to-day journal. I was too exhausted at the end of the day to write a book. I couldn't stay awake. I was beat up. Anyway, let's move on. There was another thing from the previous episode that I forgot to elaborate on, but we'll get that to another day. Let's get to this epilogue part 2. Let's hopefully we can finish this whole thing off. I'm done with this. Are you done with this? My whole mom dying thing? Listen, for somebody who I didn't really care about, for somebody who hasn't been in my life for the last 43 years, I certainly devoted a lot of time to this, right? That's pretty dutiful. I think it's dutiful. It's something. Whatever. All right. So let's get to this. I read a couple of listeners' comments. Ed from Ed Saves the World podcast. I read his comments last episode. Lynn Brunet. I read one of her comments. And by the way, for anybody who sent me anything and I don't get to your comments, I'm sorry. Please remind me that you wrote something on this particular day or whatever, how you sent it to me, with Messenger or WhatsApp or text or Facebook or Spreaker or whatever, or Twitter. It's just too many avenues of communication. I might have left out one of your comments, but they all are important to me. Okay, so Joe Foley sent me 2 comments. I think one, I'm not sure what the first one was from, but it doesn't matter because he wrote it, so it's still authentic. It might not have been about one of my Dead Mom trilogy podcasts, the 5-part trilogy. Okay, little tribute there to Douglas Adams and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy 5-part trilogy. I just like saying 5-part trilogy. I think that's funny. Joe Foley from the No Sitting on the Sidelines Dad podcast says, "Hey, great podcast. Just listened to your last podcast. I totally get what you were saying." That was like a part 1. Part 2 was, "I totally understand about dealing with parents that rely on you to do everything for them. I relate to your issue. Plus, losing a parent, it's not easy. I remember when my mom died, it felt like my job's done, right? I did not cry. Later on, I did cry a few weeks later. It's funny how grief messes with you. Keep up the good work on the podcast." So between Ed and Lynn and Joe Foley right there, I talked about last week about engaging, putting it out there and engaging. And I'm always amazed when people like, "Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, you're saying what I'm thinking." And that is, hopefully the key to my success, that I keep on talking about the things that you're thinking, but you might have been afraid to say, or you just don't have the venue, you don't have the platform to say it, so I'll say it. And if you agree, great. If you don't agree, that's great too. Nobody pushed back and said, "How dare you? How dare you say that about your mother? How you're going to go to hell?" Nobody said anything bad. Everybody's like, "Yeah, I get it. I get it. Parents are a pain in the butt. I'm a parent. I'm a pain in the butt. But I'm not going to leave my kid hanging. He's going to have, all the I's will be dotted, the T's will be crossed." You know what? Chances are he won't even have to worry about the one phone call does it all. Somebody's probably going to call him and say, "Hey, guess what? Your parents are dead. Or your mom died. Or dad. Guess what? It's all taken care of. You're going to be getting an envelope in the mail. Just sit home." Like the slacker, millennial that you are, do nothing, X generation, whatever you are. Just don't worry. There's an envelope coming. There's an app for that. My parents died. There'll be an app for that. He'll just sit home. It'll be DoorDash or Grubhub. Yeah, Grubhub will be serving him my death certificate. Grubhub is going to expand into being a notary public and deliver the bad news or good news, because he's going to inherit the Canyon estate, the Canyon fortune. I'm going to try to spend it before he gets to it, but we'll see. Okay, so also Jeff Warner. Thank you, Jeff Warner, who in one hand kind of ruined my life, but he didn't. Whatever. He did what he did, and it helped out, I guess. People at my job now know about my podcast, even though I think so many of them are lying. But the way they look at me, "Oh, Dumbing It Down with Dave." Yeah, okay. You don't have to just blur. Like when you look at me, you see me. What makes you want to just blurt it out? "Oh, Dumbing It Down with Dave." It's not like I'm the guy from the Allstate commercial. Oh, look, it's 12% savings guy. Whatever. They got a new advertising campaign now. Oh, look, it's 40% savings guy. But I think his first name is David. I forget what his last name is. But he's the Allstate guy. So people see me, these idiots I work with. Dave. Get out of here. You don't listen. Oh, no, I do. I saw your podcast the other day. You saw it? Yeah, whatever. Saw it on YouTube. Okay, whatever. It's a static image. Why would you? Listen, I know this other guy that used to work here. He goes, oh, yeah, I listened to it on YouTube. I go, but why would you do that? Why wouldn't you go to Spreaker? Do me a favor. Just download the Spreaker app. Why wouldn't you go to Apple Podcasts? Go to Stitcher. Go to Good Pods. I don't know why you would listen on YouTube. There's no advantage to that. Tell me what the advantage is. I'll go, oh, I never thought of that. It's a static image. I mean, you're not looking at it. You're just listening to it. And the thing with the apps, Spreaker and Stitcher and all that, you can you can do other things while you're listening to the show. When you have YouTube on your phone, you tell me, isn't it the same with you? If you have YouTube on your phone and you're watching a YouTube video, because if you're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave on YouTube, you're watching a video. It's a static image, but you're watching a video. You can't get off that screen. As soon as you leave YouTube, it stops. So what's the point? Okay. Anyway, Jeff Warner wrote on Facebook. By the way, I got no Facebook acknowledgement about my mom dying because I didn't post about it in the Dave Canyon page. Because I didn't want 500 phony baloney people I haven't spoken to in the last year, 2 years, 3 years to know about it. Except one person blurted it out. But, have I mentioned it enough? Have I made him feel bad enough? I'm not trying to make him feel bad. I just find it interesting. Or maybe he told the other guy about the podcast, but the other guy didn't think it was worthy enough to listen to it, and then to call me out of the blue and to tell me whatever. What a great podcast it is. But he did send his condolences. He did call me. I think he listened to the podcast. What do I know? But it's funny. Okay, it doesn't matter. I did. You know what? My clickbait was successful. Okay. Jeff Warner says, sorry for your loss. And I wrote, Jeff Warner, thank you. Thank you, Jeff. If you listen to episode 219, you'll see another side of this. And Jeff Warner goes, I listened to it, afterwards, because he didn't know about it. He goes, I listened to it last night, and I'm at a loss for words. And I wrote, excellent, thanks for listening. There you go. So that's my correspondence with Jeff Warner, who exposed me to the entire company that I work for. Not the entire company, but just enough. Listen, I got more listeners now because of at least one, maybe two. The other guys are all liars. They don't listen. And their reactions are just priceless. Not really priceless like enjoyable. Priceless like you're a moron. Stop. Don't mention. I'm at work. And you know what? All right. I got to move on. Too hostile. There's no reason for this hostility. I just think it'd be funny. You know what? I listened to this particular episode, and I really, there's nothing. There's no engagement. Where's the tweets? Where's the likes? Where's the? Not Dave. Not everybody does that. You got a few people doing it. Just be appreciative of those few people. Nah, I want more. I want more. All right, let's go back. All right, how much time do I have here? It's always a question. Oh my God, I really do. I ruin it every time. Talk too much, way too much. I think I need the fastest Russian-speaking nurse to do the rest of the show so I can get through it. All right, let's do it real quick. Episode 217, did you enjoy that? A different kind of pandemic? I enjoyed it, a different kind of pandemic. In this episode, Dave reads Rob Greenlee's post on Facebook about the current COVID-19 pandemic. Dave responds with his take by discussing the pandemic he feels we've been living with for at least the last half of a decade. No, it was more than that. Did I say that? The last half a decade? 5 years? No, the last half a century. I got to talk to my assistant about that. Got a little goof there. Did I say last half of a decade? No, last half of a century. Yes, since 1970. 1970? Yeah, probably even longer. Since the 50s. Yeah, that's what I think. All right, she'll change it. All right, here's the quote. That I haven't read a quote in a long time, but here's a quote that my assistant caught, and she put it on. And she's doing these audiograms, which are fantastic. You'll see them on Instagram, Dumb with Dave Instagram, Dumb with Dave Instagram. You'll see it on Facebook and Twitter. at Done with Dave Twitter. Hopefully, this is the quote. Hopefully, we'll all learn from this, in parentheses, pandemic. Not only to be more prepared, but to communicate better with each other. Maybe to listen more. And be patient, considerate, and empathetic. I totally agree with myself. It's a brilliant quote. Okay, let's get to the list of the comments for episode 217. How many were there? 22, not bad. How many of them were mine? None. One, okay. Patrick Mason, blah, blah, blah. Okay. When you are led by clowns, you end up with a circus, okay? Liberalism, Patrick Mason says liberalism is a mental disorder. Disorder or disorder? Disorder. I don't know. Doug Salamone drops in and says, hi, Dave. I don't know. He never says anything, Doug Salamone. He just says, hi, Dave. Or he'll just say, Dave, exclamation point. It's really kind of useless, but he's checking in, which is fine. Patrick Maruki, who I haven't heard from in a while, says, middle of the road, I believe, is the best way, especially when it comes to governing. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate that. By the way, Patrick is one of the 3 PMs. Patrick Maruki, Patrick Morrow, or Pat Morrow, and Patrick Mason. How crazy is that? I got 3 PMs. I've said it before, Patrick Maruki. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We need a Dumbing It Down TED Talk or a TEDx Talk. A Dumbing It Down with Dave TED Talk. Don't you have to pay for that? Or do I get invited? If I get invited, I'll do it. I'm not paying for it. All right. Patrick Maruki says, people turn to addictive things, alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, etc., as a form of, as escapism, in my opinion. No, that's true. I can't remember exactly what he was responding to because it's like 4 episodes ago, but that's true. Linda Irwin wrote, hello, Emma, because I had Emma as the AI voice at the beginning of the show. And then Linda Irwin wrote, I am busy following the incredible increase of content created by people stuck at home with nothing else to do. Yeah, Linda's good about that, man. She's really dedicated. Linda Irwin wrote, my daily power shakes use evaporated and 2% milk. Oh, yeah, because I talked about getting milk. Linda Irwin wrote, since the only places we ever went were the grocery stores, pharmacy, and gas station to begin with, very occasional post office, we are not missing going places. And if anything, terrifying to have to limit our trips to town wearing a mask which does not want to stay put and knocks my glasses off. Not touch my face and discover I cannot get everything I need in a single store trip because they're out of stock. Oh yeah, that's frustrating. Linda Irwin, using our stimulus check to donate to No Kid Hungry or Heartland Hunger, Restaurant Employees Relief Fund, and others. Very nice, Linda. Very, very charitable and altruistic of you. Fantastic. I did not donate any of my money. No. I have to pay for this renovation. I'm donating to the carpenters' non-union employees of bathrooms and kitchen and air conditioning, heating, HVAC, and metal roof installers. Yes. And there's more coming. So about 5 different professional handy-dandy people are benefiting from my stimulus check. Linda Irwin, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Linda Irwin, there's nothing wrong with what anybody's done with their money. You do what you want. Linda Irwin, I have been staying on top of the news, not just here in the United States, but all over the world via YouTube. If you want to know anything about cute cats, cute kids, cute kittens, or animals that don't belong with each other but somehow get along, check in with Linda. She's on top of that. Presentable but comfortable is my manner of dress, Linda Irwin writes. No need for suits or cocktail dresses when you are retired and a hermit. That's true. And retired and a hermit in McCall, Idaho. She needs a flammable flame retardant outfit in the summertime, and she needs whatever the what's that called? The heavy duty stuff for the wintertime. Well, it starts with a C. What is it that I wear? Everybody likes wearing that C. It doesn't matter. Linda Irwin wrote, I do not eat junk food or fried food. Wow. Linda has limited her vices just to smoking. Good for her. Linda wrote, I do not drink alcohol or soda. I do not do drugs recreationally or prescription. I have no piercings or tattoos. I smoke cigarettes, she says, though it is my only vice. See? That is true. Hal Allen wrote, we're going to have to do another epilogue. Hal Irwin wrote. It'll be a bonus episode. All right, so I won't call it anything with Mom or Epilogue. It'll just be bonus episode. I can't get through all this all. Where's that Russian-speaking nurse? She's good at this. My eating habits have improved. This is Hal Cohen. Oh, wait a minute. I thought your name was... Now I'm confused. Why is it Hal Aaron? I thought it was Hal Cohen. Am I crazy, Hal? I got it wrong? Okay, whatever. Or maybe it's Hal Aaron Cohen. Or Hal Cohen Aaron. I'll have to find out. He'll tell us. My eating habits have improved since my bout with cancer. You're right about the food. Stay away from the boxed crap in the center of the store. Try to gravitate towards the fresh fruits, vegetables, and meat and dairy around the market's perimeters. Learn to cook stuff from scratch and as much as possible. And cut back drastically on salt, sugar, fat, and carbs. Don't try to go cold turkey, though. No need to punish yourself. All things in moderation. That's true. Ed Neidorf, Neidorf, from Ed Saves the World podcast. Dave Saves the World? Question mark? Ha ha. Anyway, but you know, I have proof that I wanted to do a Dave Saves the World back at like episode 80, 140 episodes ago. Then I wrote, I hope that this episode allows us to rethink about various things in our lives during these pressing times. Want to learn more about what I do? Head over to my website, davecanyon.com. All right, let's see. That was episode 217. Oh, 26 minutes left. No, 3 minutes left. You know what? I'm afraid to go to it. I'm going to have to do a bonus episode. It's going to be 218, which I already started yesterday. I did the reviews for 218. The list of comments, not reviews. 219, 220. And I guess to these episodes. So, guys, listen, I really do appreciate you chatting in the Spreaker box. I want you, I'd love you to do it. Continue doing it because, you know, it's just so easy for me to read it from here while I'm driving, on my phone. My iPhone 6S while I'm driving to and from work during my commute. For those of you who send me personal messages, I realize that sounds horrible to say, hey man, don't be sending me personal messages. Send it, via Spreaker. I can't tell you how to send me a personal message, but I do appreciate you allowing me to mention it on the air, on the show. I do seem to want to. Do I seem to want to? I think it's best if I gravitate as much as possible over to my Facebook, Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group page, because it helps my algorithm. The more people, whatever, it's like the internet needs to see what you're saying and you mentioning Dumbing It Down with Dave. Whether you do that at Dumbing It Down with Dave, so you highlight it. Like, Facebook is not very cooperative with Spreaker or any podcast, anything that takes you away from Spreaker. So yeah, I'm just saying, feel free to go to Facebook. If you aren't a member of if you aren't part of the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook, fan page or whatever they call it, group page. I got two, but whatever. Let me know and I'll invite you. I should just do an invite anyway. And let's conquer this algorithm. Let's tell Facebook, because if I get 22 comments, but I know, Linda, she's not on Facebook. So she would be on the outs. So she'd have to stay on the Spreaker page, which is fine. It's fine. Okay. So there's that. And again, I want to thank everybody. There's also Twitter. Don't forget there's Twitter. But that Facebook thing is really to conquer that Facebook, to mess up their algorithm and say, you know what, as much as we try to keep Dave's podcast down, people are commenting like crazy. So I got to post more pictures and post more stuff. But I'm going to try that. I'm doing other things too. Something called Facebook Pixel. And then there's the Facebook Creators Group. Yes, the thing is, here it is, guys. By the way, it's a sunny Saturday. It snowed last night. May 9th, it snowed. And happy Mother's Day to everybody. It snowed I'm trying to get everything in. It snowed last night. Can you believe it? Happy Mother's Day to everybody. One less mother for me to celebrate this year. And all the following years, one less mom. All I got is my wife. I'm going to celebrate her. And to all the moms out there that are good to your children by staying faithful to your husband and all that other good stuff, thank you very much for all that you do. I appreciate it. Here's the fancy outro. I'm going for a drive. Yeah. I'm going for Thank you for listening to this episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance, good rats, Godspeed, and great skills.
Bye.
Take care.